and I was nearly attacked. Like, my PT clients were coming at me left, right and centre, like, what are you doing getting rid of PT? And it was mental.
I would have loved it, like,
Yeah,
we had so much
yeah.
experience, but at the back of our minds we were thinking, this is not sustainable.
100%. And he says to me, geez, there's some awful rumours going around about you. And I said, why? And he said, over the gym clothes. And I said, well, like, what do you mean? And I said, what rumours?
Welcome to another episode of the podcast that doesn't have a name yet, but
Welcome back, everyone.
it doesn't need a name just yet, but new episode. Hope you are keeping well. How's tricks with you?
Good to see you all again. And yeah, all is good with me. Thank you very much, Mark. All is good.
Tipping away nicely.
Yeah.
Getting through the photo shoot prep as well.
Absolutely. Flying it. How's all with you?
Yeah, good. Just back from Japan, as you may know,
Yeah.
and getting on just fine. Please excuse me if I sound a little bit nasally, because after 24 hours of travelling, that's always going to be the case.
Absolutely. Stuffed up in a plane.
Sitting in a tube for 14 hours with another, 300 people, and the one spluttering, coughing beside you. Nightmare stuff.
The joys of it.
Yeah, they said humidity is drier than the Sahara Desert.
No way.
In a fuselage of a
Right.
plane.
Never heard that before. Now we learn something new every day. Every day is a school day.
Every day is a school day.
Yeah.
But yeah, all is going well.
Good.
In this episode though, we wanted to touch on something we mentioned in a couple of episodes back when we were talking about our stories and our come up, how we got to this position and where we're at the moment. But we were talking about, because it's been a huge part of both of our journeys, is the actual gym that you ran for a couple of years in Rossgrey there, and something that we said we were going to discuss it in this video is the actual gym,
the gym
itself,
story,
the timeline, and what happened in there, how we got on, and why eventually it closed up.
Yep.
Because there was rumblings, there was rumours as to why it
lots
closed.
of rumours, yeah.
So kind of want to get into that. Well, do you want to get into that now?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, like, I don't mind. We'll talk about the gym story, but you know, there was lots of rumours at the time, and it came as a little bit of a shock to me, to be honest. And it's something I never really spoke about, like, publicly or on Instagram or anything like that. But I suppose, why not talk about it on YouTube, a bit longer form, you know, and people can tune in and listen if they want to listen. But yeah, I suppose, like, we'll go through the story of the gym, and then we'll talk about the rumbling afterwards. But
yeah, so basically, because I was obviously an employee there for a couple of years, but it was open for a couple of years before that. So when did it actually open?
So I opened the gym in July 2018. Yeah. So closed in 2023, so it was open for 5 years.
Yes.
So July 2018.
Yeah, sounds about right.
Yeah. And so, as I said, you know, in that episode, I started off in my mother and father's garage. You know, I turned that into a PT studio, and I was there for less than a year. So started out there after college in 2017, and then that just grew. So into Rossgrey 2018, and yeah, I remember I was actually only back from New Zealand when I opened it up. My brother's out in New Zealand, and yeah, sure, like that, it took off straight away, thankfully, and it was really busy. And you know, I mentioned before as well, I was doing PT, and I was doing classes, and I was doing it all myself for the first couple of months, and man, I was wrecked. You know, I was getting burnt out, like I really was. It was very early mornings, it was late evenings, it was PT during the day, split shifts, back and forth from Rossgrey to home. There was just a lot going on, and you know yourself, trying to get it all set up as well, and it was busy, very, very busy. And then I was doing a class one day, and Luke popped into the class, and he actually said to me...
He was doing a class?
He was doing a class,
Oh,
He came in to do a class, and he actually said to me, he said, "Jesus, Emmett, you look wrecked." And I was wrecked. You know, I really... You know yourself, like, the energy you put into coaching, and it's hard to bring that energy all the time, especially when it's just you and there's no one there to take over. So I said straight out, I said, yeah, look, I am, to be honest. And Luke was working in Lidl at the time, and he says to me, look, he says, I'd be available. Luke obviously done the same course as me. He was a year behind me in college, and he said, I'd be available to come up and give you a hand if you want. And straight away I snapped the hand off him, because me and Luke had trained together in the leisure centre in Rossgrey, and yeah. So like that's a long time ago now, probably, I don't know, maybe 2015, 2016, and we knew each other from college, and yeah. So Luke came up and started giving me a hand, and it was a godsend, like, you know, it really was. Yeah. And then Luke had planned to go off to Canada, and I hounded him to stay. I tried to persuade him to stay, and there was no go. You know, he had his mind made up, he wanted to go, and that was fair enough. So I suppose I was kind of thinking back to the drawing board now, and he went off, And we all know the story that after a couple of days he decided this is not for me. He didn't like it out there, and he texted me and said, if I come home, is there a job there for me? And I said, yeah, straight away. So he came back and straight back into it. So I had Luke and was delighted to have him. And then Kevin O'Ryan started working with us. I actually think Kevin came on work placement.
I think so too.
Yeah, he did, because he done the same course as me and Luke as well.
Yeah.
And then as part of our course, we had to do 600 hours work experience.
Right.
So yeah, Kevin started with us. I can't even remember when, but Kevin started with us anyway. And then there was the three of us. There was me, Luke, and Kevin. And then were you next or was Higgy next?
Higgy was next. So
yeah.
I was doing classes as well because I was in college in
Yeah.
Dublin at the time. So the odd weekend I'd be back home, but my girlfriend at the time, she was a member. Her and her sisters, they were in the gym the whole time training away. So anytime the odd weekend, or if I was off in the Easter holidays or summer or whatever, I do a class. So I had a couple of sessions in there. It was right crack. Had a great time. Really enjoyed it. But yeah, at that time it was only yourself, Luke and Kevin.
Yeah. And then I think Higgy came, was it after COVID, I think, maybe. I can't even fully remember.
It would have been, I think it was maybe right before COVID.
Was it before? Could have been before COVID. Yeah, you came after COVID. Yeah. Yeah. So Higgy was before COVID, and then obviously COVID happened and the gym was closed. We were forced to close. And as I said in the previous episode, like I shifted completely back online during that time.
Yeah.
And it was like really, really successful, and I enjoyed it, and I loved it, and I suppose I had been doing online coaching solely before I opened the PT studio as well, and I always enjoyed online coaching, and I always had it in the back of my head, I'm not going to run a gym forever, and I will move to solely online coaching eventually. So that was always in the back of my mind, like, but you know yourself, the gym was growing and growing all the time, and it was brilliant. Like, we had an unbelievable environment. We all trained together. We'd go off to competitions together. And you when you started, what was it, 2022? No, 2021, sorry.
Yeah.
So you were there for 2 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, like, I had a lot going on in the background, and like, we were building this house. We moved into our house in December 2022, and my wife Dalal was pregnant, and our first baby Maya came along in January 2023. And I was working with Phil Graham as my mentor at the time, and we'd had a good few chats about me closing the gym and moving fully online, like, and when Maya came along, it kind of opened my eyes a little bit. I was like, I don't want to be in a gym every morning at 6 o'clock, not getting home every night till 9 o'clock, working split shifts. I was like, I just don't want to do this long term, to be honest, right? And I remember having a chat with Phil, and he asked me to try one more thing before I closed it at the time, right? And do you remember we were going to do the change? So I said nothing to nobody at the time, and Phil said, let's try one more thing before you close it. So I said, right, and he helped me with that idea that we had. And I remember putting that into our members group, right? We had a couple of hundred members.
I vividly remember it.
Yeah, and the Facebook group went bananas. Like, nobody was impressed, like, they were not happy. And I was just looking at it thinking, if we actually do this, we're going to lose half our members. I was like, the hassle I was getting, like, people were non-stop messaging me. And that was always a factor as well. The phone was constantly going non-stop 24/7. And when I put that into the group, it was the worst of all time. And I had a baby here, and I had a wife who was just after giving, or a wife to be at that time, who was just after giving birth. We were just after moving into our new house, and I was just like, I'm not doing this anymore. I was like, I have enough of it. I had my gym built out the back. And that was my long-term plan, was to come here, do PT, and work from home as an online coach. And I went back to Phil, and I was like, this is not going well at all. People are not giving it a good reception in any way. And then he came to me and said he was leaving.
Yeah.
So I was like, going to be down a staff member. And I had it in the back of my head as well. You were all young lads. You weren't going to stay there forever. There was talks in the background of going travelling, and I knew I just couldn't, the volume of clients we had at the time, if anyone else left, there'd be just no managing it.
Yeah.
And yeah, I made the decision. I said, I'm closing it up. And that was that.
Yeah, and funny you mentioned that, the likes of travelling and stuff like that, that's from, obviously you were the boss at the time, the boss's perspective, but from the employee's perspective, we were thinking similar things as well. We were kind of in sync, because like that, we also at the time like full of piss and vinegar, we didn't have a family or not at the time, but like that we were thinking to ourselves, we don't want to be doing split shifts
100%, and I knew that as well. Do you know, I was hearing it.
Absolutely, and like that wanted to go travelling maybe, and maybe not being able to do that because we were literally, great complaint, but we were so busy there. Yeah. Like I remember specifically, we had a lad in for work experience at the time.
Yeah.
And and by the end of like week 1, he was
wrecked. He was wrecked. Man, he was going around sitting down on machines, and I was like, oh my god. And he was a great lad, like great chap.
It just shows how conditioned we got to that environment. Where we were, like I said, banging out 20,000
steps a day, working ridiculous hours.
Working Monday to Saturday every single week. Yeah. We had one half day during the week, and then Saturday would have been a half day.
Yeah.
But even at that, like you're go, and then Sunday off. But I remember when I was doing it, I was training in abs at the time.
Yeah, so you were up there on a Sunday.
So Sunday morning I'd be on the road at 7 a.m. on the way up to abs to be up there for 9.
Yeah.
And then drive back home.
I remember
home
well.
2-3 o'clock, crash out on the couch because I'm back into the gym at 6 the next morning.
Yeah.
But that was the way we were doing it, and at the time I loved it. Like, so much experience, so much working with so much people, but at the back of our minds we were thinking, this is not sustainable.
100%, and I knew that too. And you know, you said from the staff's perspective and from the boss's perspective, like I could go nowhere in peace. And you know, respectfully, my phone was just non-stop going all the time. Like, everywhere I went, the laptop had to be with me. Like the back end of everything was all on me. You know, the client, I was the point of contact for all the clients, no matter. And you know, there was a couple of hundred of them, so it was just non-stop. And I was like, this is not what I want to do for the rest of my life.
So that was kind of the ultimate decision.
It was, it was.
You knew in the back of your mind that was going to be the case.
Yeah, and I remember myself and Dalal, Maya was very small. She was only a couple of weeks old. We were going down to Kerry for a couple of nights away, and we were chatting about it on the way down. Like, and I was saying, I'm going to try this thing that Phil suggested, and she said, "Sure, look, test the water with it, see how it goes, give it a try, and if it doesn't work out, then pull the plug." And that's exactly what I did.
Yep. So looking back now, it's great that we can look back and say, oh yeah, it was the perfect time for it to close up. Because if we did run that, I'd say
we'd have had nobody. And like, I thought it was a good idea, I really did. But that works in a lot of places, you know, it works in cities and stuff like that. And I had my reservations about it, but Phil was pushing a little bit forward, and I had paid Phil a lot of money to mentor me. So I said, you know what, I'll try it.
Paying them
I was actually
for a reason.
Exactly, but I was glad in a way that I did try it, because it really solidified the decision for me.
Absolutely, because if you did close it up before even putting that message out, you would have been sitting here.
I would have been thinking, could that have worked?
Or should that have been the right decision? Whereas now we can sit here and say, no, that absolutely wasn't going to be the case.
Yeah.
But actually, filling the people in on what that was, or what our gym was. So it was a semi-PT.
Yeah, it was semi-private. Yeah, so we ran classes, and the gym was sectioned off. So one big area was for classes, and then we had it sectioned off for PT. So we had 1-to-1 PTs, and then we had classes going on as well. So there was 5 of us in there, and at any one time we could have 3 or 4 coaches doing PT, and we could have 1 or 2 coaches doing classes. And it was like all day, every day, pretty much, as you said, you know. So we got voted best class-based gym in Ireland. We got nominated, I think, 2 other years for it. I think the first year I was open, I got nominated, and I can't even remember what year we won it, but we won best class-based gym, and you know, we had 250 members at our busiest, maybe even more. Like, it was extremely successful, and like that, you know, it was a brilliant environment. It was savage, and I think that's why it came as such a shock to people when I decided to close it, and nobody could really fathom it, and everyone kind of came up with their own ideas as to why it closed.
Yeah, so there was plenty of rumours
going
around, and I heard every one of them.
Yeah.
Do you want to go into that side of things now, or
take a drink of water before I get into that? But no, like, on a serious note, it was tough to deal with, like, because I couldn't believe it. Genuinely, I couldn't. And I remember, like, I'd obviously put it up that we were closing the gym, and my phone just went absolutely ballistic. Like, even the landlord of the gym rang me to see was everything okay because it was closed. And I'd actually had a good conversation with him on the phone, And I explained everything to him, and he was like, yeah, fair enough. He says, you obviously have your plan in place, what you're going to do, so more luck to you. And we had a good old chat. And then I remember, like, a couple of days later, I met a mutual friend of ours for coffee.
Mm-hmm.
And he says to me, geez, there's some awful rumours going around about you. And I was like, what? And I'll never forget, I know exactly where we were sitting. And I thought he was messing first. And I was like, why? And he said, over the gym closing. And I said, well, like, what do you mean? And I said, what rumours? And he started saying to me, well, everyone's saying you're cheating on Dalal, and she's making you close the gym. She's making you close the gym. So that was the first one. And like, I can categorically sit here and say, thankfully, I have never cheated on my wife, and I never will, right? Just the first time to address that. And it'll be my last time to address it as well. But that was one of them. Another one was that I owed the taxman €200,000.
200?
200,000.
Taxman. If he's watching this,
I'm done for.
He has it on the record now.
But again, I've never owed the taxman a cent, and I never intend to. Right? Mm-hmm. That was the other one. But surely you remember some more.
So you bought a horse.
Oh yeah.
You bought a racehorse.
Yeah, I bought a racehorse.
You went in with a pal of yours, I think.
Yeah.
Two of you went in on a racehorse and it broke its leg.
Yeah. So he rang me about that. I think he heard that one.
Yeah.
So that pal that was supposed to bought this horse with, never bought a horse in my life, by the way. He rang me and he's like, did you hear the rumour? And I said, what rumour? And he said, we're after spending I don't know how much money on a racehorse, and it broke its leg. But I actually know where that rumour came from.
Well.
So me and him bought a greyhound off my father for €1,000 each, right? And it broke its leg on the first bend of the first race. Yeah, and it was around that time. So that's where that rumour came from.
So there was no such thing as Tato out there running the yard, breaking the leg.
He actually is into horses, and my father keeps a couple of horses, but I've never had a racehorse. I've never even been to the horse racing.
Right. Okay. Well, that solidifies that rumour.
Yeah, and I don't even know. Was there any more? There was probably a few more, but.
The main one was the taxman anyways, coming for you for the 200k, and the missus telling you to shut up. Yeah. The gym altogether. Yeah. So
those were probably the three biggest ones. Was cheating on Dalal with 5 or 6 different women. I was a busy man at the time. It's hard enough to keep one happy, but that was the number one. The second one was the taxman, and the third one was the racehorse. But I think I heard a few more rumbling around as well, but
yeah, just goes to show.
Yeah, it's a mouse at one end, like with the greyhound, like it's a mouse at one end of the street, it's an elephant at the next. But that I think people just had to come up with something, because like that, it was so successful and we were doing very well. Yeah. It's like, what's going on?
There was a real sense of community in that gym, and for it just to be told like that, because when you were closing it up, it was on 6 weeks notice or something like that, because there was an end date.
Yep.
Speaking of end dates, we're always about them end dates, but it was like maybe the 12th of May or something like that.
It was around 2 years from when you started. So didn't you start the 10th of May?
Yeah, I started on my birthday.
On your birthday, which is tomorrow.
Yeah. Which is, 10th of May. Tomorrow is the big day. Yeah. But I started on my birthday because it was just 2 years after. Yeah. I remember I put a post saying 2 years working here or whatever, and then a couple of days after you sat me down and told me the whole shebang that we were closing up shop. Yeah. But like that, it was around that time, and it would have been, I think you said 7 weeks from now, because that was the date we were going to change the gym.
Yes.
To the new method, which would have been more high. It was
so we were going to scrap. We were going to get rid of PT completely.
Yeah.
And we were going to do literally just semi-private. So it was going to be classes from the start of the day to the end of the day.
Yes.
So that we had so many clients doing PT. Sure, there was 4 or 5 of us. Mm-hmm. We all had 20 to 30 clients doing PT, and all of them were members as well. Yes. So they were all going to be very disappointed that there was no more PT. Mm-hmm. And that was just the way it was,
Yep. But like you said, when you were down in Kerry that time and you got all that feedback from them, at least you got the feedback, because
exactly,
rather than sitting here questioning, maybe it would have worked.
And I came back to the gym and I was nearly attacked. Like, my PT clients were coming at me left, right and centre, like, what are you doing getting rid of PT? And it was mental, man. Yeah. But I could understand it too, I really could.
But just just as you said there, like they were all upset or
100%, exactly.
But
yeah.
it just shows the community, the
They
passion
loved it.
that they
Absolutely.
loved it in
Yeah.
there, and so did we. Everybody loved it, and that's why it was such a shock to people, because we had such a good thing at the time.
Yeah.
But you knew deep down that this wasn't going to last, and for yourself, because you have to look after it numero uno.
Mm-hmm.
No one else will look after it for you.
Yeah.
So being able to finish on the 7 weeks and be like, right, I've
That's
done
it,
my bit,
yeah.
5 years,
Yeah.
fantastic work, and just being able to transition from that point then to where we're at now.
Fully online.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it has only gotten better as time went on.
Same.
I think.
Yeah. We're growing all the time, which
Yeah.
is brilliant. Like, and I suppose to mention as well, and to say like a massive thanks to everybody who passed through the gym, and I still coach a lot of people who were in the gym, and they've been with me since the gym closed. It's online, obviously now, because I'm not doing PT anymore. But so many loyal clients, and like I can't thank them enough. And everybody who came into the gym and walked through the doors made it what it was like, and made it so successful. And like that's probably something that I didn't say enough at the time. You know, I massively appreciated it, and I always will really appreciate it. And I'll never forget anyone who walked through the doors and supported us and placed their trust in us. And you know, it was special.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
and like that as well. So myself, I'm coaching lads and
Yeah,
girls to this day
Yeah.
that I would have done PT with. We'd had the photo shoot groups and everything going on in
100%.
there.
Yeah.
And to this day, like some of you now watching this are probably were probably members at the time.
Definitely, yeah.
And like that, yeah, you always see them if we're in the local cafes or whatever, you'd see them, just say hello, and like there's so many people around. I remember, I never forget, there was one Christmas, I think, and we were out in Portlaoise. I was out with my girlfriend at the time and a couple of her friends or whatever. The amount of people that were like, oh, Jays, you're working in this gym, and yeah, you just see clients or ex-clients out.
Yeah, you'd see people everywhere. You could go nowhere.
Madness.
Yeah.
And even, as you said, to this day, like, if you wandered into E53 now, the amount of people that you would have been like, Jays, I coached that lad,
Definitely,
or I work with
or
him.
connected in some way. Like
Yeah.
coached their mother or their brother or
Yeah.
their sister. Yeah,
It's brilliant, like.
Yeah.
It's great, but yeah, it was a really, really good experience for sure.
Absolutely. Yep.
Anything else you want to add to that?
Oh, I think that's nearly enough. But
So yeah, but yeah, finally, just thank you to everyone that has watched up until this point. But if you were in the gym as well, just want to say thank you very much, because only for you, we wouldn't be in this position where we're at right now.
100%. Yep.
So,
Big love.
yeah, big love. If you did enjoy that episode though, make sure to like, share, subscribe as usual. If you have any comments on that video, or if you had heard any other rumours about the gym,
Drop them in the comments.
leave them in the comment section and we'll let you know. We'll verify if they're true or not. Go on, leave you with that.
Thanks very much for tuning in. We'll
This is
see you in
love.
the next one. Peace out.
Peace.